Fresh ragu, mate. I mean, I hope not. I hope you don't, you know.
This is the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. This week we head to Voss in our Sork stories and talk about a small flurry of news, a quick little patch that came out, and some news in our guild and community as well. This broadcast, Astromech, right over here, is EPC 246. There he is. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
It's going great. Let's see. Well, we did. It's Green Week, so that's always kind of fun. We did Xeno on MFN night, Tuesday night, and we did the world bosses, and then we did some rampaging, and then we went around and killed guards. So basically, I think everybody who was there for most of that got their personal target, just doing that stuff. I've been running my pub characters through some conquest stuff. So right now my goal is to get like 4 of each. I mean, 1 of each of the 4 classes, right? So I did my commando, my sage, my sentinel, and my scoundrel. And then we went on the pub side during our ops team and did Terra from Beyond. So then I got another sage out, and I'll probably get conquest on her as well.
Another one.
But yeah, I'm trying to level up those characters and get them to 300, etc., etc. And so I can't make them all mercs and commandos.
Nice.
But yes. Yeah. So that was pretty much my week, conquest and ops. And I do like those rampages. I don't know why, but it's fun. It's good for coffee and contemplation time. Anyway, so how was your week?
Boy, this little turtle, you're right. He's pretty cool. So you said you got that. You bought it with coins?
I did. I saw him during MFN. And I said, "Oh my gosh, what's that?" It's a juvenile turtle.
Look, he scratches his face. He does have a huge noggin, but
he does.
Good.
He doesn't. Yeah, I mean,
he's not a terrestrial. He's not an Earth turtle, but he's some kind of turtle.
No, he's his own turtle.
Yeah.
He's his own turtle. And I don't know, like, it makes me think, are they going to have like a companion turtle? Because like his is the juvenile version.
There you go. I don't know. So yes, I agree. I like the rampages. I was traveling this week, so I have not hit conquest on any of my characters, so I am not going to hit 4, I don't think. But I will certainly hit at least 1, if not 2. I did, I'm thinking back. We are doing Thursday this week. We did Tuesday the week before, so it's been sort of 10, 9 days between. Yeah. When I did a bunch of conquest last week, I did a lot of it in GSF and PvP. And I did a lot more PvP than I had expected because it was really a GSF week. But I got into it a little bit. And I realized that I had not done... I think I had only seen it once before the Yavin themed version of the Alderaan Civil War Warzone map. It's the same map, it's the same game, it's the same rules, but it's a different theme, and I realized I really liked it. So I was in there quite a bit. I got it enough times to feel like it was a nice little variation, even if I'm going to play the same game. So I wouldn't mind really even if they took Void Star and did a different, maybe you're assaulting a Republic ship instead of an Imperial one, and if they did the same thing to I don't know, any of Denova, the Denova one, and just changed it up and changed the scenery. If you're gonna not have a bunch of different game types, you can still have a bunch of different, just change the art assets. That seems like it would be relatively straightforward, and you wouldn't have to design the balance and everything that you need to have in a new game. So I did 3 characters, I think, last week, so not a ton, but because it was all GSF and PvP, that did actually take some extra work, and that was fun.
Yes.
So that was fun. Tonight was fun doing a quick run through Terra from, well, I guess not that quick, but we did it with 7 people for most of it, and then brought in an 8th later on.
Plus, I was healing on my level 66 sage.
That got
I was having to remember.
So level 66 to start, and what by the end?
Level 70.
And how many command ranks?
by the end, I had 8 command ranks.
Yeah, so
I hit level 70 during the last boss fight, and then had 8 command ranks by the time we finished loot.
yeah. So that is going, especially if you've got a solid group and you can go through an operation relatively quickly, that is a solid way to get XP and command ranks and all of that kind of stuff. So keep that in mind, everyone. So yes, I'm going to do a little bit more this week. There are a lot more things that we can do. Us just going through Terra from Beyond knocked out a whole bunch of, like, half of my conquest points on one character, so that's pretty cool. But with that, there's also a little bit of news that we can talk about.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
In the news, there was a cartel coin purchase problem, and I know this because there is a dozen posts on it in the dev tracker of things going back and forth about this problem. It doesn't sound like it was a huge problem. It was it was bad enough because it's things that people paid for, so that's a little bit frustrating.
Right. I mean, the people that were affected, it was
that's
definitely
frustrating. But everybody's getting corrected. It has taken a week, but it seems like 90% of the people are fixed already, and so there was a breakdown with their e-commerce system, and as people were buying the cartel coins, they actually weren't showing up in the game. They changed some things and broke some code, and so they had to roll that back. And then as a result, had to manually go through transactions and see which ones worked and which ones didn't. So they were cleaning that up for a couple days. Keith obviously took it seriously because it was 12 posts from Keith of him tracking down the problem, getting the status, posting updates, posting responses to individual people being angry, and him taking responsibility for it. So if you do not have it cleared up yet, although it may be frustrating, definitely just send another email. They will get it taken care of, and you'll get your coins.
Also, they made some updates to the proposed changes to Hutball. It sounds like they're really listening to the comments from the community and letting that inform their decisions. My first take on it, and I'm not a Hutball player, but it just seems like too soon to change when we haven't even tried it yet. But you know what? People know it better than I do. They decided that they're not going to implement that hinder factor after all. They had proposed that if you had the ball, you wouldn't be able to use any of your speed or any type of ability that altered your speed.
Yes.
And I guess that turned out that would be, as people brought it up, and as they thought about it, that would be too much of a hindrance to some classes where, their defensives are tied to a speed increase. So they would be just like sitting ducks if they had the ball.
Yeah. Your point, though, that was it too early to make that evaluation when they hadn't even put it on the PTS? I get that maybe they did get enough feedback that it would be difficult enough and it would break a couple things. And as you read their post and what they say about it, they did have other ways that they could achieve their goal. They said, all right, well, why don't we try it this way instead? And that's the way it'll show up. So
yeah.
So okay, if they can still achieve their goal, that's fine. I kind of liked it. I did read through a lot of the posts, and I do get the idea that there was an opportunity for it to be too much of a game breaker, and end up with a bunch of stalemates and weird things that are able to happen because you're almost rooting people. In fact, one person I think even postulated I don't think it would ever work this way, but the way to use the Hutball offensively to like pass it to players on the other team so that they're basically rooted, and so you could kill them, and somehow you would win the game that way by passing it to the other team constantly. But I get the idea of that. It's just such a breaking factor that you could end up with a lot of stalemates in particular. So they are going to keep the idea of still trying to make sure you're slowed down, incentivize passing in a few different other ways, which is making sure that scoring goes to 10 instead of 6. So getting scoring going on is the way you're supposed to win this, not just putting one score on the board or holding the ball until the end of the match.
Right.
More attacker points, more medals, and that kind of thing for passing it, and doing that, so more incentives that way. I liked that. And then this last one, which was you die if you hold the ball longer than 45 seconds. I didn't know this was already. They made it sound like it was already a thing. If you hold the ball for 120 seconds for 2 minutes, you die.
Right, for 2 minutes. That's how I read it.
I didn't.
I can see how this is going to make it a faster, more interactive game, and also they shortened the match and they made it so that whoever has the most points wins, and instead of like, so you're not incented to get to 6 points and then stall.
Yes, right. Or just well, if you got to 6 points, the match ended.
Oh, that was the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not just a quick race to 6 points. There's more range in there. Although a couple other people postulated, why, is there going to be some sort of slaughter rule? I mean, if it's 7-0, and we're 3 minutes in, do I have to wait another 7 minutes? It's not like we're going to catch up. But they want it to be more. So I almost think they should have some sort of catch up mechanic just to make it a little bit more dramatic. That wouldn't be totally fair, but but it's Mario Kart style, is it
10 minutes?
Is it,
it's a 10-minute max.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like the idea of it being a sport, and I like the idea of scoring and playing the game and scoring being what's supposed to happen. In fact, this reminds me, today, my son, who just graduated college, he's been leveling up some characters. He was been playing a lot of PvP. He was on his operative healer. He was in a match. And the other team, I don't know if they were a pre-made or what, but they were doing really weird stuff. They just grabbed the ball and they held onto it in the middle of the match, and they all just sort of stood there. And there was one of the healers was really good. They had some off healing as well, but this healer was so good. He was holding the ball, standing in the green puddle, and over-healing himself. He ended up with almost 4 million healing. No, 7 million healing by the end of the match. So the people that play these war zones, that's the most healing I had ever seen. So I don't know if they were coordinating this and going for it that way. They ended up scoring once.
Yeah, maybe that.
Maybe
that's what they were doing
to put margin. Yeah. So but that's weird because so they were like gaming it and breaking it, and it wasn't a hutball match. Then it was something different. And you might as well not be in hutball at that point. Just be anywhere and taking a lot of damage so that you can get big healing numbers.
I mean, maybe it was just, the one guy say, hey, let's see how high I can get my healing. Let's go into hutball and do this.
Sure. So it could have been
like a one-time thing.
And if you're right, it's not some new technique for actually playing the game. So that's true. If we started getting to those kinds of things, which you can get from time to time when a Warzone strategy is a little bit broken, then something needs to be fixed. So, yes, what else in the news? They did have another post on clarification on GSF changes. So that is coming relatively soon. They did clarify some more of the intent behind the changes. The idea of cross-faction and matchmaking, they explained a little bit more how matchmaking is going to work. They will not be breaking up teams of 4. If 2 teams sort of super queue and they're trying to get, all 8 experienced players on one side, because they're going to do cross-server queuing and because they're going to have more teams, hopefully, or more people in the queues, and because the way that they're going to be calculating which of the teams and how a team ability gets calculated, they think it's going to be less likely that that's going to happen, and you're going to have all 8 of the good people on one side and all inexperienced people on the other side. I'm sure it's still possible, but that's what they're going for, and that's what we hope for. So.
Also, just to remind everybody, Star Wars Celebration is going to be in Chicago in 2019 in April. The 5-day passes, I guess, are sold out already, but you can still get passes for Friday, Sunday, Monday. As of this point in time, I don't know when you will be listening to this, but say Thursday night. So 300 days it's 300 days away. So,
Yeah.
start packing.
So this is the earliest it's ever sold out of 5-day passes, and I believe the earliest it's ever sold out of a single day. So Saturday, in theory, is all sold out. I wonder how
Yeah.
much secondary market is, because Star Wars is hot.
I wonder too.
That, that people are, the scalpers are all gathering up all the tickets and they're going to go on the secondary market. So there may be tickets available, but that's sort of crappy, but that happens a lot these days. And it just seems more and more and more. So
There's no word yet on whether there'll be a cantina, but I hope there will be. I think it's a perfect opportunity. And then, of course, you probably will be going for some sort of AIE meetup in the area, Humax.
yes. So I am planning, I have my 5-day pass. I will be there. I will be in the area. I will be downtown. I have room for at least a little bit of a meetup. So I'm planning on doing an AIE sponsored meetup, maybe a SWTOR Escape podcast style meetup. If we're going to have more than about a dozen people, we're going to have to go find some other place to meet up instead of the suite that I have down there. But we can burn that bridge when we get to it. The past couple Star Wars celebrations, there has been a SWTOR cantina. I don't know if there's going to be one this time, but I would bet that there is. So if they do a cantina one night and we do our meetup on another night, we could have a whole bunch of fun activities down there. Even if you can't get tickets for all the days, you could come hang out in Chicago.
That's right. Or even if you don't get tickets at all.
Yes.
You can still come to cantina. At least that's how it's worked in the past. And you for sure could come to AIE meetup.
Yeah. So that would be cool. And last up, there was a patch today. It was a tiny patch. It was a little bit of a surprise. We don't know what's going on. The patch notes are really
Wednesday.
it was on a Wednesday, which is weird. The patch notes are something about the French and German text for the Ultimate Cartel pack was bad, so it was telling people they would get 40 packs instead of what they were actually getting was 30. So yes, they needed to fix that because people
that is pretty bad. Yeah.
Maybe that was bad enough for right there. And then characters have not logged in since game update 2.0 could have a versioning error, so that maybe characters not being able to log in, that might have also been enough to be a game breaker. We were speculating if there was something else that was also driving it, because it seemed relatively small. But now that I look again at these two, I mean, these are game-breaking bugs for certain segments of the population. They're probably having to compensate people because they told them they would be getting 40 packs. So maybe that was plenty. I don't know, but that was that.
Yeah, you're right. That could be.
In guild and community news, Conquest continues to be a rallying point for the guild. Great job, everyone. Great job, Leia Yacht Est on both sides. We've been hitting our targets. That's really cool. One new event that we wanted to do a shout out on, one of our guildies, one of our ops leaders, Marcus, who does he's in our chat room here, Working Class Nerds, who does the Working Class Nerds podcast. He's sponsoring a guild event, which is hopefully going to turn into a monthly event. So the first of them is on June 22nd. It will be from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern time. That's 8 p.m. Central in the correct time zone. And AIE is going to do a world boss hunt and take on hopefully every world boss, every reasonable world boss in the game. I don't think we're going to be doing, I don't know, we could do Nightmare Pilgrim. But I think just starting on all the low planets and going up and doing all the world bosses is the intent. Should be awesome. The code name for this new series of monthly events is Mega. These are mega events, and the Mega stands for Monthly Epic Group Activities. So thank you, Marcus, for setting that up. We like those kinds of monthly events and guild events across any of our AIE games. We've got guildies that are doing that in all of our game divisions. So it's cool to have another event that we're going to be able to look forward to, as sort of like a bigger monthly event in Star Wars The Old Republic. So that's awesome. What about this week in our guild, Seema? What's our focus?
Well, we're on the pub side this week for Conquest, and I didn't mention it, but when we went and did Xeno for Conquest and stuff, we were on the pub side. We have made our target for the pub side, so if you want to get your personal targets done, this would be a good week for it. on the pub side because you'll get the additional mats.
Excellent, excellent.
Next week we'll be back on the imp side for both Conquest and MFN. So June 19th, MFN, imp side.
Yes, we will. So 2 more weeks. We do 2 weeks Imperial, 1 week Republic. That's sort of the balance of where our characters are. Everybody's got characters on both sides, but that seems to make a lot of sense for us. So back to the Imperial side next week. I'm having fun on the Republic side this week, so thumbs up. All right, Kemval, where's our class story at? Where I see this beautiful autumn-themed planet. What is up?
Jinasiwe ja alaize nam nadize. Ustaupaim ICJ in alam is frumadine habans.
So Kemval just explained the entire backstory of our Sork all the way from the beginning and our time on Dromankos and Korriban. We are on Voss, though, so we've got ghosts in our head, and we're still trying to find a way to tame them, and there's potentially some ritual of healing on Voss that we've gotten wind of through some research. So this is where we are right now. And I like Voss. I've always liked Voss. I think it's been it's sort of a nice theme, a nice art style. It feels like fall. It feels like autumn. So I come from the Midwest of the United States, and we do have a real autumn here. We do have a fall as a season. So this reminds me of it quite a bit. Reminds me of Halloween, or at least Halloween time, Thanksgiving time in the U.S. So I've always liked it from that perspective. So if you want winter, you can go up to the mountains in Alderaan, or you can go to, I don't know, technically you could go to Ilum or Hoth, but that's more than winter. That's like Antarctic.
Yeah.
If you want summery, deserty, we've got planets like that. It is weird. Someone reminded me once that it's sort of weird in Star Wars how every Star Wars planet only has a single season that wraps the entire planet. It seems that way from what they show us. I know that's probably not the case in the extended lore, but the moon of Endor is entirely jungly in everything that we saw, and Tatooine is entirely desert in everything that we saw. And here we go to Voss, and all we see of Voss is that it's entirely all the trees are look like this, and the whole season looks like this. And but still, it's cool. I still sort of like that, because then you could say, well, what's the season? So we're supposed to come down here and talk to somebody. Who are we supposed to talk to? Athelis Callus, and it looks like Seema is following me. Is she? Is there some?
Yes, I was.
Big rock I can jump off of? Where is that person? Oh, down here. We got to go over this bridge.
I think almost every MMO is like that. I mean, it's just not a whole planet, right? It's a zone.
Right.
But every zone basically has its color scheme.
Which, especially back, maybe not. That's not as pertinent anymore. But that was definitely done for technical reasons as well. Because you ended up with. Wait, no, I went the wrong way. Go back up. Go back north. Back across the bridge. You, like here, there's a very distinct color palette that's being used to create the planet. Mm-hmm. You would have to switch to a different color palette if you were going to get back into, greens and mossy colors and that kind of thing. And there, in the old days, when the color palettes were probably more limited than they even are now, that would have been a big problem. So, when WoW was first created, for example. So, yeah, all right, let's go in here. Talk to this. No, why can I not find? Where's the green box? Is this it? Weekly heroic missions. No,
I'm just thinking about science fiction in general, and
we
it's
do need to go across the bridge.
not that uncommon for planets to have like one characteristic climate.
Yes. Yeah. Right. It's also easier to describe and not say, oh, I went to the desert planet Arrakis, but I was on the, but I was up in the mountains
on the
in
jungle
the snow.
side.
It happened to be really snowy that day. that would be a little bit weird.
Plus, if in your story you have space travel, when you get to the point where you want a different climate, why wouldn't you travel in space to go there instead of just having it on the same old boring planet?
Yeah, agreed.
I've told you, Jofin, that the concept of diplomacy itself is strange.
I told
Sith.
you.
As far as they are concerned, they are the only people who matter. They receive the visions, not the Empire.
And not the Republic.
And not the Republic.
The point is, there's no precedent for what you're asking in Voss culture.
Ah, my lord. Rural Jofin, Imperial Diplomatic Service. A pleasure. Try not to stir the pot too much while you're here. When the chips fall, we want the Voss to land with us. You understand, of course.
Okay, so
I think I'm gonna use Force Lightning on them.
yeah, I make no promises. I like in these cutscenes they have depth of view, depth of field with the camera.
That's exactly
That's
what
something
I'm
they
afraid.
added later, but
Thank you,
it
Mrs.
works really
Dallas.
well.
Again, my lord, a pleasure.
My lord, good to see the rumors of your death are just that.
But why, boss?
Don't you have a Dark Council member to kill?
I'm after a healing ritual. I don't really want to tell you.
know a ritual that can heal a fractured mind.
I'm listening.
Yada yada yada. Screen goes black.
So you're after a healing
Montage
ritual
of me
that can
telling
keep
her.
These, ghosts under your control. In all my time studying the Voss, I don't think I've ever encountered such a ritual. Although, let me look something up.
I could flirt. I could say hurry up, or I could say, so you're pure. Well, just hurry up.
The faster you talk, the better.
Let's see.
You're even hurrying
The
yourself up.
misfits in our society, the visionaries and the healers, both are extremely
I
rare.
want to go shoot a
Now,
Gormak.
rarer still is a small
Bag me a Gormak.
outcasts who call themselves the Dream Walkers.
Fine, I'll go see them.
I understand, outsiders. We shall have a common ground.
They spend most of their time meditating in an enclave below Voskar. Like all Voss, they're cagey around outsiders, but perhaps...
Great. Speak to Asaku. So depth of field is where if you're close up, the things in the foreground can be blurry while you're focused on something in the background. When you have a shallow depth of field, the distance at which your focal point is, that will be the only sort of distance that's in focus. And things farther away will be blurry, and things up close will be blurry. It gives you a sense of depth a lot more. So as the camera was panning back and forth between them standing closer to the camera and me standing behind them and walking in the door, the depth of field was first focused on the woman up close to the camera that I was talking to, and then the focus changed. Even though the camera doesn't have to move, the focus can change to me. They go out of focus, and you get that feel of depth. It's a cool camera effect.
Yeah.
Okay, we need
Cool.
to mount up and go somewhere else. Let's quick. I think we can just quick travel
I'm
back.
bringing my turtle with me.
Quick travel back to the Imperial District. Your turtle's gonna run. You're gonna make the turtle run along on the ground while you ride your speeder.
He likes it.
He likes it. the panting is him liking it. All right, and we can take this to southwest, the Fort Codentha Skyhopper. That's where we need to go.
Have a safe and pleasant stay.
The other thing that
Got it.
I like that they did, although I don't like the version on this planet, is a lot of the planets have this slightly different shuttle that you take. This one's sort of like a little weird little boxy thing. But you go on when you're taking the shuttle points on Nar Shaddaa. It's a sort of a slick speeder with an open top. On Alderaan, it's the Thrantas. I like that those were different. I thought that was a cool touch. It's not just the same transport between flight points on every planet. Here you get the overview of all these planets. Also, for anyone who doesn't know or doesn't remember, Voss is the home of the Nightmare Pilgrim, one of the interesting open world bosses of the game that in the day took a
Yes.
lot of, it still takes coordination and effort, but used to be a really big deal because you would have to do a lot of work to get the extra buff that you would need in the form of a little component that you'd need to be crafting up so you could take your group there and that kind of thing.
And the way they limited your attempts on him or your kills on him was that if you killed him, you got a debuff that lasted for 4 days, which would prevent you from pulling and killing him again.
Which you
And
still get, I believe, right? I think you can still only
possibly,
do it. Yeah.
but whereas it doesn't matter now. But
Oh.
back in the day, it was guilds would wear that debuff, with pride.
Yeah. Ooh, Nexus. Bunch of Nexus we're driving past. Where's my? I should pull out my Nexu companion. We need to go north. Can we cut through here? This is one of those times when you
Protect you.
It's one of those times where when you don't have the map open, you can think you're going the right way, and then the map opens up, and I don't know actually. Oh, we can't go that way, so must be this way. Hopefully. Oh, I've got one of these too. The Gormak Monstrosity. Isn't that a Varanticus?
Yeah.
I have one of those that I can ride around on as a mount.
I do like that model. I mean, not as much as a juvenile turtle, but I do like it.
Look, they got an intergluteal cleft even. Yeah, so Zen in the chat room is explaining that the speeders giving you sort of that panoramic tour of the zones is sort of a cool effect. And there are some planets where that's not the case. You think of how they did Makeb, for example, or like the transporter hubs on Belsavis. Just that teleports you instantly from one place to another. You don't get that cool fly through, and you miss out a little bit of the feel.
I used to love that too, in the ops like Eternity Vault, and tonight when we were doing Terror from Beyond, where the run back was on a speeder, and you got to see like the look of the operations from a different angle than what you saw when you were fighting it.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's almost an excuse to I mean, you should, if you haven't experienced those. I mean, no one's never wiped in any of those, have they? But go do it. Yeah, remember that and go do it and enjoy it. I'm sure the designers and the artists who put all of that stuff together would appreciate you appreciating their work. The Russet Slopes. That's where we are now. Welcome to the Russet Slopes. Almost there. So I always have speculated that it wouldn't be too difficult for them to add Voss as a playable race, and I'm sort of almost surprised that they haven't already. Because it's very humanoid. They speak Galactic Basic. They speak English. They can wear, they could just use a human body type and wear all the same stuff that we wear, but just have the cool face. And have a lot of customization as far as the face and the skin colors and that kind of thing goes.
And it is one of the classes that people have been asking for.
So Smoke in the chat room is saying
in it.
that at one point they claimed that they were too tall. I mean, I don't know. I'm not noticing a height difference even in the cutscenes. Maybe they use that as an excuse, but I don't see that being an excuse. They could stretch things out a little bit, maybe. In lore, they're like 12 feet tall. They're like super tall. So here, before I click on this guy, he's definitely a head taller than
Horse Chuckle,
like
hey, how's it going?
He's like 6 inches taller. But not that tall. And I'm a type 2 body type. Definitely not 12 feet tall. Kemval is taller. Come stand next to this guy. Now, I mean, Kemval's not wearing human armor, but Kemval's quite a bit taller than this guy. Yeah, so maybe it was just an excuse. All right, let's talk to him and see what he has to say. What's up, Asa?
Greetings, friends. I seek a ritual to silence the ghosts in my mind. Can you help?
Outsider, we get few visitors. You want the ritual of mind healing. It is hidden. Only our order know it.
I am Darkside, so I am going to threaten him, of course. Do I get to shoot lightning at him yet? I'm confused. I don't understand what you're saying. I'm gonna have to use my lightning.
Teach me the ritual, or I will kill you all.
Come, we are not your enemies. You could join our order. It is not forbidden.
He is waving his hands in my direction.
Is fragmented. You may not survive the initiation.
I will do what I must. Just bring it on, bro.
If this is what it takes to learn the ritual, I embrace the risk.
We are sorry if this kills you.
We're sorry in advance, but it's the risk we're willing to take.
Yes. I approve.
Follow the dream. That is the first part. The second is a boon that you pay us. We choose when.
Like what?
What is a boon, exactly?
A small debt.
Yes. What are you looking for?
Drinking binds your consciousness to ours. There is no choice. Here is the seed. Safe journey.
Sweet. Okay, so I get to go burn the seed and breathe the fumes. All right, if you know what I mean. You got any more of that seed there? Be much cooler if you did.
No, Matthew. I do not.
That's Asaku Makanahe, the Voss. All right, let me burn the seed. I don't like burning the seeds, bro. I only burn the bud. Now I am in sort of ghost mode here. Golden ghost mode. Do I run around now? What did he say? Explore the dream. Oh. Are you in here? You're probably not in here, are you, Seema?
No.
Oh, well.
I wonder if I could come in now. I'm burning the seed.
Burn the seed. Burn it. Oh, hello. You are in here.
Oh, it worked.
Sweet.
I'm surprised.
Maybe this is like a zone that we're actually in and not a personal instance. Maybe if there was more people, they would all come in here.
I like being yellow.
Something, and they were all yellow. What is that song? There's a song like that. Bonus, defeat a bunch of these nightmare things. I wonder what my gear is right now. I think it's really terrible. So what am I? I'm 49, and all my gear is level 33. Like 33 greens and blues. Here's some 42. Yeah, it's fine. It's all Seema's companion anyway. Okay. Speak to Riley Dre's illusion.
My lord, you came back. I missed you so much. Why did you leave
Riley.
me? Why did you leave me all alone?
Not interested. She just tried to punch me. Defeat her illusion. Force lightning. No surprise. Just force lightninged her. Now she's dead. Okay, whatever. No concern to me.
Just one fewer person I have to talk to.
One fewer annoying obstacle to my personal journey. Oh, so Starry Saber is making the point that if we were Voss, you could potentially have some issue with the class stories when you visit Voss, because this is supposed to be the first time you're here and you're not familiar with the planet. I mean, you do say things like, what's a Voss?
That is a good point.
But so maybe they'd have to like not say derp, what's a Voss, but you could maybe, like, if you start, you're going to start your class story on Korriban, and maybe you were taken as a baby or born off world because you're force sensitive, so there's your excuse. Cutscene with a Wampa. He growled at me, and I just stand there with my hands on my hips. Now he just nodded.
Haha, well played, well played. You didn't flinch at all, did you?
Go away.
Get out of here, ghost.
Pardon me if I decline.
Who is this guy?
You have
Do I know this
so
guy?
many transgressions.
Ergast?
This is going to be very fun.
Okay.
You were all that's dark and vile and
Nomar Organa killed this guy,
you used
didn't
Rahana
I?
and deceived me. You are less than nothing.
So Nomar Organa we killed. He was the Jedi we killed on Alderaan. That was having an
now
affair.
There's no more Nomar.
Noma. Is that a little Boston talk there? I parked the car. There's no ma.
Oh my god.
Noma, you are. I really want to scavenge that, but I won't.
Yeah, you're too slow.
Scavenge all. Oh look, Seema's got all the nutrient gel. Oh, I could really use some.
It's mine. It's my nutrient
really
gel.
Hungry for some nutrient gel, Seema.
A Sith after my own heart. I was a Jedi once, full of spit and fire. For peace, of course.
Aren't these the ghosts in my head? Smoke?
Give me control and I'll help you against the others.
Oh, Zen. Zen in the chat room is telling me, notice how my companion stuns the enemies so they're not killing me.
Like a huge waste of
That's a little dig because I wasn't stunning enough of the ads in our ops team tonight and they were on the healers.
We're part of you now.
Yeah, these are the guys in my head. So the first one was the force walking one.
What have you done to me? You betrayed
Sash.
me. You ruined me.
Alright, fine. Kill Zash. I've got a force ghost of Zash. Ooh, she did a nice little knockback there. Continue to explore the dream. Yes, Zen. I'm still interested in your codex reading series on YouTube. That would be great. Like Masterpiece Theater, where Zen just sits in a book with at a chair by the fire and reads codex entries for an hour at a time.
I'd watch that.
Darth Andrew.
Master, did you, Snake? I know just the punishment for you.
Punishment. Whatever. Be careful.
This is my mind we're in. If I die, you go too.
I never said anything about killing you.
Oh, tricky. So, kill something else.
Three of us.
Okay. He disappeared and he came back to say that? Okay, who's our
Sith must obey tradition.
Thanaton?
Without it, the Empire would collapse. I love you like my own child, but you are a blight on the Sith Order and must be
Oh look,
purged.
Wait,
my real life
he
shirt.
loves me?
Yeah, that's not true. My shirt in the podcast matches the color theme of Voss. I didn't even realize that. Okay. All right. Are we almost done? Now we have a big... Oh, one more person to talk to. Harok Mull. What's up, Horok?
Fine, we relent, but only for now. You are not rid of us. You will never be rid of us.
I wouldn't say never.
Your victory celebration is decidedly premature.
Your determination only makes it more tragic.
All right. Now a bunch of ghosts are showing up all around me. All these ghosts that I just defeated. Do I get to kill them all again? No, now I wake up from
If you can.
my seed dream. Speak to Asaku. So did you complete that as well, Seema? Did we do that together, or did you?
No.
Oh, you were in mine?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
No outsider has ever returned to us. What you have seen is personal. We do not ask.
Okay.
You are one of us. You may enter our chambers in the Shrine of Healing. There you will find your ritual.
Yeah, what about that boon?
What do I owe you? I hate to leave any outstanding debts.
Patience. When you reach the shrine, present this insignia. You will learn the ritual of mind healing. We will collect the boon when we need.
Thank you. Just try. No, you won't. And kill him. Dark side.
You will collect nothing.
That was a little cruel. And then I killed all the other spectators, apparently. Leave no witnesses. Alright, well, that's me. I'm bad to the bone. That didn't feel good at all.
Bad.
That was not nice.
That seemed arbitrary.
Yeah, because, like, what if something doesn't work out and I have more questions?
I guess you didn't want to leave it. You didn't want to leave a situation where you owed him something. So to erase the debt, you just erased him.
For one. And for two, now I can ensure that no one else is able to gain this knowledge and use this ritual. I've now reserved it for myself. Alright, we gotta go all the way to the north here. Way up there. Way, way up there, Morty. Way up to the north. So we'll haul ourselves up there. If they're gonna send us on another wild goose chase, then maybe we'll push that off to next week. But if we're just gonna show the insignia and do our... I think we do need to do more on this planet before we get to finish off. But we can go up here. So
yeah, I mean, I think we should be able to fly up there, right?
No, I don't think there's, not to there. Because this is all, we're still all inside of, is that another zone? I don't think there's a speeder point up there, is there? No, I think we have to drive up this way.
Well, there's a speeder point that's closer than we are, but it's not that much closer. So.
Oh, do you have the speeder points unlocked here? I don't see. I don't see
nope,
one.
I don't. But I remember Voss.
You have it all memorized. You.
Well, that sounds like an opportunity to challenge me, but yeah.
We will test your knowledge. So Nightmare Pilgrim. Should we do Nightmare Pilgrim on our... Should we encourage Marcus to get us to Nightmare Pilgrim? You're right. Here's a speeder point.
Yeah, how many people do you need for that these days?
16, and I think 16, no more, no less. I think that's still the deal with Nightmare Pilgrim. I think you do want 16 because even though it's not as hard as it used to be, this is the farthest it goes, so we just got to keep going north. if you have it's your level sync to the planet. So if you notice here, we are at level 48, and that's what you get to. You get to be level 48.
Yes.
So because you're level synced, you're going to want 16 people, or otherwise it does get a little bit annoying. It's still not impossible to do it with less, but it will get annoying. And when you do Nightmare Pilgrim, you do get to spawn it, so it is not one of those bosses that you have to wait until it's up, or make sure another guild hasn't killed it, which that's useful. So you walk up to it, there's a thing on the ground. So if you find bluey things on Voss, make sure you click them as soon as you see them. That's always a good time.
Yes.
So there's a glowy thing against a little cliff face in one of the areas of Voss, and that summons the Nightmare Pilgrim and his big dog. And one tank needs to tank the Pilgrim, the other tank needs to tank the dog, and what happens is there's a little bit of a swap mechanic. So once you're DPSing the dog, and then the dog sends out a sort of like a little death mark ability. And once you get that death mark on, you can no longer DPS the dog until that goes away. So then there's sort of like a swap mechanic there where half the group who has that little death mark on them needs to be then DPSing the Pilgrim and ignoring the dog, otherwise you will kill yourself. You swap back and forth. There's lots of circles on the ground. It's a good time. It's big hits on the tanks. The tanks definitely need to be geared and using cooldowns. The healers need to be ready for a solid amounts of spike damage. Kimball said there's much power in this place, much feasting. Well, if you're hungry, buddy, you can grab a Voss snack.
Some Cheerios, a juice box.
A Voss arm. Almost there. We're running to the back of this. Running to the back of this healing temple. This is this a datacron? Like the datacron? I think you don't get. Can we just click on it? I guess I'm gonna see. I thought you were not allowed to get this datacron until you. Yeah, only those worthy can receive the shrine's gift. So this datacron, if you don't have it for your legacy, which obviously I do. Did I leave you behind, Seema? Oh, there you are. Are you eating? Did you stop to eat a Voss?
Like a Voss.
If you don't have this datacron, you have to complete this part of the story so that you get through the temple process and become worthy to be able to click on the datacron. So we need to go back over here and go upstairs, up these stairway here. You are not worthy. I know, Starry Saber. It's disappointing. Why didn't I just shoot lightning at it? That's what you do. Probably would have worked. Works for everything else. See, this Voss is the same size. They're only like 6-8 inches taller. It's not the size that matters. Charlie.
I guess, though, what they're saying is that in lore, they're like 12 feet tall.
You are not free to explore. The chambers are for dreamwalkers.
Lightning, force persuade, threaten, or show insignia.
I think you should go for force lightning for a change.
It's force persuade. It's not lightning, unfortunately.
Oh.
I'll just show him the insignia.
I thought that was the second.
I'll just brush the blood off from the Voss that I cooked and show him this.
Forgive me. Enjoy your
His name is Char-Lee, but we'll just call him Charlie. Thank you, Charlie. All right. Now we get to go in. A lot of these I think a lot of these lights and stuff you can get as decos as well for your stronghold. There are a bunch of Voss styled things that I think you can
These are
get.
cool lights.
Yeah, they are. Examine the Voss artifact. Cutscene of me examining.
This knowledge is forbidden.
Examine a boss artifact.
Don't give me orders. Foscars are here too. My apologies. Nope. Don't give me orders.
Who are you?
Marda, first Dreamwalker, then Lust. You seek the ritual of mind healing. It is forbidden. I sense your disease, the cost of desire. I will not help. Forbidden.
Force persuade. So the only dark side choice is to say okay and then bind him. All right. What's another force ghost in my head? That sounds like a great idea.
Then you leave me no choice.
He sounds like a good one.
Kemval approves. Isn't my problem too many force ghosts in my head? So I'm just going to grab another one. Stick it in there.
Release me. I command you.
Give me what I want now.
Tell me how to do the mind healing ritual.
You must release me.
Yeah. Force lightning.
Dark heart of the nightmare lands. There is a dream rock. The rock turns nightmares to flesh.
A what does what?
Slow down. What's a dream rock? And what does it do to nightmares?
The dream rock is the dream rock. There's nothing like it.
The dream rock is the dream rock.
Disease. Defeat the nightmares, defeat the disease. A Gormak must go. A Gormak must use the dream rock.
A Gormak. How does that work? What are you even talking about?
Why do I need a Gormak? What does it do with the rock?
The Gormak feeds the rock. The rock transforms the nightmares. The Voss kills the nightmares. The rock heals the Voss.
Something rock.
Walk in their dreams. This is taboo. It is still truth.
Fine. I need a Gormak then. Got it.
Where do I find a dream walking Gormak?
Difficult. The Gormak are not Voss. The Gormak should not dreamwalk. Find the Gormak. Use the rock. Defeat the nightmares. Heal the Voss.
Okay. Get it. Got it. Rock. You're free to go. I'd rather not. You're mine now. I guess I'd rather not. No, I don't want him in my head. Go.
You've been most helpful.
Not willingly.
Yeah, well, I can come back and force shock you later.
Yeah. Although, if he's a ghost,
Well, I shot lightning at him, and he seemed to take it.
dislike it.
All right, quick call to the holo communicator, apparently. And that will probably wrap us up for now. See what we got.
My lord, the Voss are trying to force me off the planet. Their commanders are destroying my research. All because I helped you.
Keep them calm. I don't have time. Hang tight. Yeah, I do. Whatever. I don't have time for that.
I need to know where to find a Gormak that can dream walk.
A what? Oh, never mind. I won't be able to tell you anything if they destroy my research. That's 20 years of my life. Get your hands off.
Apparently I need to go back and save her before she can tell me about this Gormak deal. So apparently that's what we're going to be doing next week, is a little detour to maybe I can shoot lightning at her and shoot lightning at the people that are bothering her, and then find a Gormak to shoot lightning at. And we will be good. All right. I think that was a good first half of Voss. Again, fun planet. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see if we're gonna do maybe we'll do the second half of Voss next week, and maybe we can try to find some time, even if we don't do it on the world boss night, to get at least our guild through Nightmare Pilgrim and record that somewhere for some people to see.
Yeah, it's time.
Okay, so with that, I think we can take our EPC 246 droid and kick him out an airlock to broadcast this episode, 246th episode. Please keep up with us on Twitter at MaxTheGray and at AIESEMA. And if you know anyone else who should be listening to the show or tuning in or should hear about AIE or Star Wars The Old Republic, send them our way. You can certainly send them to us on AIE-guild.org. You can send them to our podcast on YouTube or live on Twitch, usually on Tuesday nights, but I think next week, again, it's going to be on Thursday night. You can also tell them to come find us on the Starforge server and ask us for an AIE Guild invite. Our AIE-guild.org has a link at the top for our Discord server. If you want to jump in there and ask for a guild invite, you can catch up with us that way as well. We would certainly love to have you. And we will talk to all of you later. Later.
Later, everyone. Yeah, later, everyone. Sorry, I was reading chat.